the call to a higher frequency. Have you ever felt like the world around you is shifting, almost imperceptibly, but undeniably? Like the air feels thicker with meaning. Your mind begins to ask questions you didn't even know you needed answers to. And your heart pulls you towards something that feels both familiar and incomprehensible at the same time? That is the beginning of a fifth dimensional shift, a profound transformation that begins not in the external world, but within you. A fifth dimension shift is not something that comes with a loud announcement. There's no grand spectacle, no fireworks in the sky. Instead, it whispers to you. It nudges you. It starts as a subtle sense of unease, as though life as you know it no longer fits. This is the first hidden sign, a growing detachment from the illusions of the third dimension. The third dimension, the reality we're all accustomed to, is built on separation. It teaches us that we are separate from others, separate from the earth, and even separate from our higher selves. It's a dimension ruled by fear of not being enough, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. But when you begin shifting, that fear starts to lose its grip on you. Slowly, you wake up to the realization that the things you've clung to for security, money, status, possessions are no longer enough to satisfy the longing deep in your soul. Have you noticed this in your own life? Perhaps you found yourself questioning why you're doing what you're doing, why you're chasing goals that no longer feel meaningful, why the people around you seem stuck in the same loops, or why even your favorite distractions just don't seem to work anymore. This is not a sign of failure. It's an invitation, a sign that your consciousness is rising to a higher frequency, where truth, love, and unity become the foundation of your reality.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
But this detachment can feel terrifying at first. When the things that used to define you begin to fall away, you might feel lost or even empty. You might feel like you're floating in a void, unsure of who you are or where you're going. And this brings us to the second sign, the experience of the void between dimensions. The void is not a punishment. It is not a sign that you've done something wrong or that you're failing in your spiritual journey. It is, in fact, one of the most sacred spaces you can enter. In the void, you are stripped of everything that is not your true self. It is a space of pure potential, where the old version of you dissolves and the new begins to emerge. But here's the question: can you sit in the discomfort of not knowing? Can you trust that even in the emptiness, something greater is unfolding? Most people resist the void because it feels like chaos. But what if the chaos is actually creation? What if the breakdown is necessary for the breakthrough? As the old energies fall away, you may begin to notice something extraordinary, a heightened sensitivity to energy and intuition. This is the third hidden sign of a fifth dimensional shift. Your senses expand beyond the physical. You start to feel things you can't explain. You might walk into a room and feel the energy of the space as if it's speaking to you. You might sense the emotions of others without them saying a word. You might even start to notice synchronicities, those moments of uncanny alignment where it feels like the universe is winking at you, guiding you toward your highest path. Pay attention to these moments. They are not coincidences. They are breadcrumbs left by your higher self, leading you deeper into the fifth dimension. But here's the challenge: will you trust them? Will you follow the signs even when they don't make logical sense? Think about this for a moment. How much of your life has been dictated by logic and reason? How often have you ignored your intuition because it didn't align with what made sense? Shifting into the fifth dimension requires you to let go of the need for certainty. It asks you to trust in something greater than yourself, something you can't see but can feel. But this trust doesn't come easily. It requires you to confront the parts of yourself that are still clinging to fear, doubt, and control. It requires you to surrender, and that surrender is where the real magic begins. But here's the challenge: will you trust them? Will you follow the signs even when they don't make logical sense? Think about this for a moment. How much of your life has been dictated by logic and reason? How often have you ignored your intuition because it didn't align with what made sense? Shifting into the fifth dimension requires you to let go of the need for certainty. It asks you to trust in something greater than yourself, something you can't see but can feel. But this trust doesn't come easily. It requires you to confront the parts of yourself that are still clinging to fear, doubt, and control. It requires you to surrender, and that surrender is where the real magic begins. The alchemy of transformation. As you begin to surrender to the process of the fifth dimensional shift, something incredible starts to happen. The parts of you that you thought were broken, flawed, or unworthy begin to dissolve, and in their place, something luminous is born. This is the alchemy of transformation, the process of turning the lead of your old self into the gold of your higher self. But this transformation is not without its challenges. One of the most profound hidden signs of a fifth dimensional shift is the resurfacing of old wounds and patterns. You might wonder why, at a time when you're supposed to be ascending, your deepest fears, insecurities, and traumas are coming to the surface. It can feel like you're moving backward, like the progress you've made is unraveling before your eyes. But this is not regression. It is purification. Imagine that your soul is like a river, and over time, debris has accumulated, blocking the flow of your energy. The fifth dimensional shift is like a flood, washing away the debris so that your light can flow freely once again. But this process can feel overwhelming. It can feel like you're drowning in emotions you thought you had already healed. So ask yourself, can you face these wounds with compassion rather than judgment? Can you see them not as obstacles, but as opportunities to release what no longer serves you? This is where the true work of ascension lies, not in escaping the pain, but in embracing it as a teacher. As you continue to shed the layers of your old self, you might notice another hidden sign: a profound sense of oneness with all things. This is not just a philosophical idea, it's a visceral experience. You might find yourself looking at a tree and feeling its energy as if it's alive in a way you've never noticed before. You might feel the interconnectedness of all life, as if the boundaries between you and the world around you are dissolving. This sense of oneness can be both beautiful and disorienting. It can challenge the very foundation of your identity. After all, who are you if you're not separate? What happens to your ego, the part of you that has spent your entire life trying to define itself, when it realizes it is not the center of the universe, but part of a vast, infinite web of consciousness? Here's a question to sit with. Are you willing to let go of the stories you've told yourself about who you are? Are you willing to step into the unknown and embrace the truth that you are so much more than you've ever imagined? As this sense of oneness deepens, you may find that your priorities begin to shift. The things that once seemed so important, success, recognition, material possessions, start to feel hollow. Instead, you're drawn to experiences that nourish your soul: connection, creativity, service, and love. This is the fifth hidden sign of a fifth dimensional shift, a radical alignment with your soul's purpose. When you align with your soul's purpose, life begins to flow in a way that feels almost effortless. Doors open where there were once walls. Opportunities come to you with ease. But this doesn't mean life becomes perfect or free of challenges. Instead, it means that even the challenges feel meaningful, as if they're guiding you toward your highest potential, becoming the embodiment of light. When you embody your highest self, you no longer feel the need to seek validation from others because you found it within yourself. You no longer look outside of yourself for answers because you've discovered that the universe speaks to you through your intuition, your feelings, and your inner knowing. You no longer feel like a victim of circumstances because you've reclaimed your power as a co-creator of your reality. But this embodiment of light is not something that happens overnight. It's a process, a dance between your human self and your divine self. There will be moments when you feel completely aligned, as though you're walking on air, and there will be moments when you feel like you've taken a step backward, as though the weight of the world is pressing down on you. This is normal. It's all part of the journey. So how do we embody light in a world that often feels heavy with darkness? How do we stay anchored in love when fear seems to surround us? The answer lies in one simple but profound practice: presence. When you are truly present, you are not caught up in the illusions of the past or the anxieties of the future. You are fully here, in this moment, where your power resides. Presence allows you to see through the distortions of the third dimension and align with the truth of the fifth dimension, that you are an infinite being, connected to all that is. But presence is not always easy. It requires you to slow down, to breathe, to listen. It requires you to let go of the need to fix, to solve, or to control, and instead simply allow yourself to be. Can you do that? Can you give yourself permission to stop striving and simply exist in the fullness of who you are? When you cultivate presence, you begin to notice the miracles that surround you every day. The beauty of a sunrise, the feeling of the earth beneath your feet, the kindness of a stranger. These are not small things. They are glimpses of the divine, reminders that the fifth dimension is not some far-off place you need to reach. It's here, right now, waiting for you to tune into it. As you deepen your presence, you'll find that your relationships start to shift in profound ways. You'll no longer feel the need to change or fix others, because you'll see them for who they truly are: divine beings on their own unique journey. You'll approach conflict with compassion rather than judgment, and you'll find that forgiveness comes more easily, not because you're excusing someone's behavior, but because you understand that holding on to resentment only keeps you tethered to the third dimension. This brings us to one of the most powerful truths of the fifth dimension: you are not separate from anyone or anything. Every person you meet, every experience you have, is a reflection of the energy you are carrying within yourself. When you encounter someone who triggers you, it's not a sign that they are bad or wrong. It's an invitation to look within and ask, what is this showing me about myself? This is not always an easy practice, but it is one of the most liberating. When you stop projecting your pain onto others and start taking responsibility for your own energy, you reclaim your power. You become the creator of your reality rather than a victim of it. But here's the deeper question: are you willing to take that responsibility? Are you willing to stop blaming the outside world for your struggles and instead look within to find the answers? This is the ultimate act of courage, and it is the key to fully embodying the light of your highest self. As you move deeper into the fifth dimension, you'll also notice that your sense of time begins to change. The rigid structure of linear time, past, present, future starts to dissolve, and you'll begin to experience life as a series of interconnected moments, all happening simultaneously. This can feel disorienting at first, but it's also incredibly freeing. When you stop being bound by the past or fixated on the future, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities in the present moment. This shift in perception also affects how you manifest. In the third dimension, manifestation often feels like hard work setting goals, taking action, and waiting for results. But in the fifth dimension, manifestation becomes effortless. You don't have to chase after what you want because you understand that it's already yours. All you have to do is align your energy with it, and it will naturally flow into your reality. But here's the secret: true manifestation is not about getting what you want. It's about aligning with what your soul truly needs. The fifth dimension is not a place where all your egoic desires are fulfilled. It's a place where you are guided toward your highest good, even if it doesn't look the way you expected. So ask yourself, what are you holding on to that is keeping you from aligning with your highest self? What fears, beliefs, or attachments are you ready to release so that you can step fully into the light of the fifth dimension? As you reflect on these questions, remember that this journey is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up every day with an open heart and a willingness to grow. It's about trusting that even when the path feels uncertain, you are exactly where you're meant to be. And so, I leave you with this: you are not just a passenger on this journey. You are the journey itself. You are the light, the love, the infinite possibility that the fifth dimension embodies. Every step you take, every choice you make, is a reflection of the divine essence within you. Embrace it, trust it, and know that you are never alone. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for doing the sacred work of awakening. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to share it, to reflect on it, and to carry its wisdom into your life. Remember, the fifth dimension is not a destination. It is a state of being, and it begins with you.